You're listening to The Bloodshed Baddies.
Hi, I'm Lex,
And I'm Sam.
and we are the Bloodshed Baddies.
Hello, baddies.
Hello, baddies, and happy birthday, Sam. We are recording this on Sam's birthday.
Oh, Nelly. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm not a huge birthday person. I just honestly never really have been, if you think about it. But I appreciate it. Thank you. I do want to tell the listeners, and then maybe you can plug that place about the very generous birthday gift you sent me.
Oh, yes. Hold on. Let me look it up on Etsy. So, as you've realized, Sam and I love reading, hence our book club. And
Daddy Book
as you've heard
Club.
us talk about multiple times, we also love Taylor Swift. So I found a shop on Etsy. It is called Lucky Day Books, and they do a lot of blind date with the books. So they do a blind date with a book based on a Taylor Swift genre. So I got Sam folklore since that's one of her favorites. And Sam, do you want to talk
Faves.
about kind of like what you got in the blind date with a book and what book you
Yes,
got?
I do. So I've always honestly been afraid to do blind date with the books. I know we kind of talked about that, Lex, just because we're like, I don't know if we have this book already. And you actually sent, correct me if I'm wrong, my story graph to her as well,
I did. I sent a story graph and then like a little blurb about what you like and dislike.
which was so awesome. So I opened up the package because, of course, Lex called me and was like, you need to open this up. I can't wait for your birthday. So I was like, okay, cool. So I opened up the package and it was like beautifully wrapped, like very thought out. It was like wrapped in this beautiful cardboard wrapping and it said folklore on the side. And in it was, it looked like a library card with like the blind date book items. So it said like YA, emotional, quote unquote, themes of peace, things like that. And then in between, like the envelope of the wrapping, there was a bookmark, a pen, a highlighter, a bunch of folklore stickers, like just so thoughtful, so nice. It was put together with a beautiful folklore sticker as well. And then I opened it up and I got a book that was actually on my book wish list, All the Bright Places. I think I'm saying it correctly. But it was just so great. And I think everyone should go to the shop because also, Lex, you said it's not just Taylor Swift eras, right?
Yeah, they have a bunch of different kinds and it shipped very fast. It's super reasonably priced. It's like the same price as getting a new book, but you get like all the stickers and bookmarks and stuff with it. Everything was just so well thought out. I'm very jealous, so now I got to buy one for myself.
I know I want to buy more of them. If you know a reader, that's a very good place to go. Plug them one more time, Lex.
Lucky Day Books on Etsy.
Lucky Day Books. You all should definitely check it out, especially I know we have some readers that follow us that listen to our Betty Book Club episodes. So definitely go check that out. Are
All
you
right,
ready?
all right, all right.
All right, what is that, Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody about apparently his autobiography is like super great.
Oh,
So I just added it to my Libby list to listen to it.
another recommendation. Go listen, baddies.
But I am going to do a case today. It was recommended by our little brother Jake.
Little
What's
brother
up, Jake?
Jake.
I know you're listening. He
We
actually
love
recommended
you.
this. He actually recommended this like 2 weeks ago and then called us this week and was like, you don't even care about me. And I was like, I'm already researching your case. And it's going to be our next episode. So here it is, Jake.
We got it for you.
This is going to be a little bit of a shorter case. There's not much information about this case at all. Like at all.
Leave it
Um,
to Jake to make you do a lot of work.
it's exactly what I texted him this weekend. But recently, social media sites like TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube have started talking about how this seemingly straightforward death might not be that straightforward at all.
Interesting.
So we are going to talk about the death of San Diego police officer Ciara Estrada. Trigger warning, this case does involve death by suicide. Ciara was born on February 13th, 1992 in Long Island, New York. She did end up moving to California when she was younger. Her parents are Larry and Julie Estrada, and she had three siblings, Matthew, Brandy, and Cheyenne. She was a godmother to her nephew Cashton.
Oh.
In high school, she was the executive officer of the Air Force Junior ROTC program.
Oh, so she's a baddie.
Yes, she attended San Diego State University, where she majored in criminal justice and minored in sociology. She was very, very smart. She made the dean's list every year. She also, baddie, rode varsity crew.
Oh my gosh, I had a roommate in college who did crew. Shout out Bethany if you are listening. And that is not for the faint of heart. That is a strong, strong sport to be in. Go crew people.
Yes. In 2015, she joined the San Diego Police Department. Ciara was very, very close with her family, and she also loved her dog, Trevor.
Oh, little Trevor.
On New Year's Day, 2018, Ciara Estrada was found dead in her apartment with a gunshot wound to the head directly between her eyes.
Oh my goodness. On New Year's
C-
Day.
New Year's Day. San Diego Police Department quickly declared the death a suicide. Evidence included a suicide note, a gun registered to her, and they said that Ciara was battling depression. The case was basically open and shut.
Dang.
Ciara's family, though, does not believe that Ciara died by suicide. They do not believe that Ciara showed any signs of depression or suicidal ideation before her death. The family actually has a GoFundMe page, and they are raising funds to hire a legal team.
Ooh,
They want to know why the San Diego Police Department did not follow the protocol of involving an outside agency.
that's a very good
So,
point.
because she was in the San Diego Police Department, the San Diego Police Department should not have been the one to investigate her case. It should have been an outside agency, but it wasn't. And the case was never truly investigated. It was just, it's a suicide, open and shut. The family also felt that the police were providing inconsistencies in the timeline as well as the details. Allegedly, the police refused to provide the crime scene photos to the family.
Ooh.
There are also rumors out there about the autopsy report. The thing with this case is there's no crime scene photos available online. There's no autopsy report available online. There's really no information besides a couple articles. When I tell you, like, there's not anything past page 5 of Google
Oh, wow.
search. There's a couple articles about it. There's the family's GoFundMe page, and then there's like the police officer like memorial page for her. But other than that, nothing is really out there about this case.
Which is also very strange because even some of the smaller ones we have done, there's lots of information, like the town's articles or like things like that. So the fact that there's nothing is a little bizarre to me.
Yes. And there's nothing like in the news about it from when it happened. Everything is post when the family started to say, like, this is suspicious.
Ooh,
So the rumor is that they're on the autopsy report that it said that the trajectory of the bullet may not have aligned with suicide.
ooh.
So many people on the internet, and I know everything is with a grain of salt, but it's just something to think about, are quick to point out that most people who die by self inflicted gunshot wounds do not usually aim the gun directly between their eyes. If you think about holding a gun in between your eyes, it puts your wrist at a very strange angle.
For sure. And I did think that when you mentioned that the bullet was in between the eyes, I was like, that's kind of strange. That's not usually the case. Doesn't mean it's not, but that's not
Yeah.
usually the case.
And again, not to get like too graphic, but usually it's like your temple or inside your mouth.
Yes.
And also, Ciara was left handed. So it may not have matched up with the way the bullet went through because it didn't make sense for her to hold the gun that way with her left hand.
Okay.
So the family's biggest concern is that her boyfriend could have been involved. all of this information from the family is on their GoFundMe page. So I'm not saying that this is 100% true. I'm not saying this is 100% false. I'm saying that on the GoFundMe page, this is the information that the family has put out there. The last time the family saw her was the night before Ciara was found on New Year's Eve. Ciara was getting ready for a New Year's Eve party at a hotel that she was attending with her boyfriend of 2 years. Her boyfriend was also a San Diego police officer.
Ooh.
According to the family, at the party, Ciara and her boyfriend got into an altercation that was witnessed by colleagues. Ciara left the party alone around midnight, getting in an Uber to return to her apartment where she lived alone. The only other person with a key was her boyfriend.
Colleagues, you mean other people in the police force, correct?
Yes, the
Which
police
was the
force
police force that
investigated her
investigated.
death.
Okay.
Ciara did not show up for her shift the next morning, and that's when somebody realized something was wrong. The family also says that they were asked not to talk to any of the media at the crime scene. They report that when they spoke to the medical examiner said that there was evidence that could be indicative of a struggle and homicide could not be ruled out.
Oh, wow.
The family has also said that after going through Ciara's messages and social media, it seemed that maybe her relationship with her boyfriend had been toxic.
Not good.
So then there was also another incident that occurred that actually led to Ciara receiving threats from the public about a shooting incident that happened about a month earlier.
Oh my gosh.
So on December 14th, 2022, Ciara and two other officers responded to a call about a man with a gun to his head.
Oy.
When they arrived, David Ramirez had a gun and a knife. He refused to drop his weapons when instructed to by the police officers. He began to walk towards the officers with the gun pointed at them. The officers began firing shots. David fell to the ground, but got back up and started walking towards them with the knife. The
Ooh.
officers fired more shots. Although paramedics arrived to the scene quickly, David ended up dying from his injuries. Police reported that there was a suicide note in his pocket that had mentioned suicide by cop.
Okay.
The body cam footage was released, and the public was outraged. The officers were accused of using excessive force and violating David's civil rights. The public also questioned the credibility of the investigation. So, per protocol, Ciara was placed on administrative leave and offered counseling services.
So a lot. That right there is a lot because I haven't seen the video. I don't know what that would be, but no matter what, if you're involved in that, if you're a police officer, that's a lot to go through. That's
Yes.
traumatizing.
Yes. So then the internet has also come up with their own theory, which we're just going to talk about a little bit and dive into. So the internet has also theorized that it was possible that Ciara discovered internal misconduct in the police department and was silenced.
Okay.
So I'm going to start by saying there's literally no proof of this anywhere, but we are going to just like jump our feet in a little bit to like how shady the San Diego Police Department is because they have been involved in their fair share of scandals, which is probably where the internet has come up with this theory.
Okay, let's do it.
So I have like a couple little just like quick snippets, but if you want to dive into them further, all of this stuff will be linked, of course, in our show notes as usual. In 2023, a San Diego police chief, Captain Alberto Leos, sued the San Diego Police Department for corruption. Alberto said that he was pressured to alter a traffic report involving a police chief's son, who is also a police officer.
Ay, ay,
So
ay.
this police chief's son was in a traffic incident, and Alberto wrote the traffic violation as a Category 3 violation. For a Category 3 violation, it would mandate 30 days off work unpaid.
Okay.
Alberto said that he was pressured to change it to a level 2, and when he refused, leadership changed it. And on the Category 2, there would be no consequences to the police chief's son.
Problematic as can be. That's just very problematic. There's bad seeds in every profession, but that definitely feels like a bad seed, right?
Also in 2023, a newly implemented law in California revealed dozens of cases where the San Diego Police Department found that officers used excessive force, exhibited racist behavior, sexual harassed members of the public or fellow officers, conducted unlawful searches, failed to use body cameras properly, and more.
That's a lot.
There were 68 internal affairs investigations from 2014 to 2022. Remember, Ciara had died right smack dab in the middle of this in 2018.
Not looking good.
So there were multiple findings of discrimination. In one instance, the body camera footage caught a police officer arresting a woman, and he had like his police canine dog there. The woman was either Hispanic or Asian descent. And while he's handcuffing the woman, the officer says, it only likes dark meat.
Sickened. Chills, sickened. That's disgusting and terrible.
There was also another officer who was caught with his body cam footage multiple times using excessive force when arresting people for smoking on the boardwalk. There were officers caught making sexual comments and leaving sexual messages to waitresses at a restaurant.
Ew.
The thing with this is during this time period, it's hard to say because like a lot of people did resign and stuff, but it didn't seem like there was a lot of consequences for these actions. There was one police officer who was fired out of these 68 cases and three who resigned. And most of them just got a letter of conduct put in their police files, which the police tried to say is a very big deal because you might get passed up for promotions if you have a letter of conduct in your police files. But in my own personal opinion, excessive force, racist comment, sexual misconduct should be a little bit more than a letter in your file.
Oh my gosh, yeah, especially when you're in a position of power, especially as a police officer, because I'm sorry, but you are held to a higher standard. You have to conduct yourself in a different way than other people do. And that's the case for a lot of, I would say, like public service jobs. It's just the facts, especially when you have the power to arrest people and, use force when necessary. Not excessive, obviously, but you need to hold yourself to a standard. Those are not standards at all. At all. That's just awful.
Yes. Another kind of case of corruption occurs, well, it occurred before this, but in 2023, Peter Griffin, a retired San Diego police officer and detective, was sentenced to time in prison for his role in a conspiracy to operate 5 illicit massage businesses that were a front for sex work.
2 comments. One, not to make light of the situation, isn't Peter Griffin the guy from Family Guy?
I think it's Griffith. Or is it Griffin?
I'm pretty sure it's Peter Griffin, the big like guy in green pants.
Yeah.
I think it's Peter Griffin. Okay. 2, disgusting. Massage parlors with happy endings. They are fronting that. Again, one, that's completely wrong anyways, but as a police officer you're just held to a different standard. You cannot do that. You can't.
So the massage parlors were in business for 9 years, and they exploited mostly non-English speaking immigrants and pressured them into engaging in sexual activities.
Of course. No, I hate that.
Apparently, when one employee refused to engage in sexual acts, Griffin told her to, quote, leave her morals in China in order to make the customers happy.
That makes me so angry that I am like thinking very carefully of what to say because that's disgusting as can be. That is legit scum. You are legit a person in power taking extreme, extreme, extreme advantage and being a complete disgusting pig while doing so. And I don't like that at all.
Yes. So he used his status as a former police officer to assure local authorities that his business was legitimate. In fact, a local officer responded to a complaint that Griffin was involved in illegal business. And when the officer arrived, Griffin flashed his badge.
Oh my God. Like the flippin' good old boys club or whatever. I was a cop before. I can do whatever I want. The law doesn't touch me because I'm an officer. Newsflash, the law still touches you when you're an officer. You still have to obey the law, if not even more.
Yes.
I mean, everyone should obey the law.
The final little blemish on the San Diego Police Department's record that I'm going to talk about did take place after Ciara's death, but this one blew my mind.
Yikes.
So, lastly, Officer Cesar Alcantara staged his own suicide using fake blood, shot a gun off in his home, and solicited sex work during his shifts.
What? What?
In 2020, Caesar was arguing with his girlfriend. She left the house. He sent her pictures and videos threatening to harm himself to get her to come home. When she returned home, he was laying on the floor, pretending to be dead, surrounded by fake blood. She quickly realized that the blood was fake and ran upstairs crying. Caesar then shot his gun at the floor. No one called the police. In 2021, a year later, rumors about the gun going off at Caesar's home spread. So the investigators interviewed Caesar and his girlfriend, who is now his wife,
No.
who is also a police officer.
What?
Both of them denied it, and it just kind of fizzled out.
No.
However, later that year, the girlfriend, now wife, decided that she wanted a divorce and was scared of what action Caesar was going to take. So she came clean about everything and told everybody the story. Investigations found evidence of the gunshot to the floor and bullet fragments that matched his own police gun and a vial of fake blood in their house
Oh
labeled stage blood.
my gosh.
She also sent the force text messages of him soliciting sex while on duty, one of which he was securing the perimeter of a murder scene while he was texting sex workers.
That is so disgusting that someone has been murdered and you are doing your job securing the scene and you're worried about sex and getting it. And I want to puke. And I also feel extremely sad for the girlfriend turned wife because that is the most toxic, manipulative thing I think I've ever heard of in my whole entire life, to go that far to mess with somebody's head because you guys got into an argument is unreal to me. The fact that she ended up marrying him is unreal to me. I can't imagine what happened behind closed doors. I cannot believe they were both police officers. I That boggles my mind. I am stressed out from that.
So when all of this comes out, Caesar was placed on leave, but he resigned before his leave was over, so he was never disciplined. The district attorney declined to prosecute him, saying that there was not enough evidence.
I was just going to ask, he should be jailed for that.
Records as of 2023 show that he is still eligible to be a police officer in the state of California.
So you resigned from this job because you didn't want to get in trouble and you're a baby wimp. You didn't get prosecuted because I'm sure your good old boy club knew somebody who knew somebody. And you can still be a police officer? Absolutely not.
Although this case is now shorter and really there's not a lot of information I can give you, I still really wanted to do this case because I think, regardless of whether Ciara did die by suicide or by the hands of her boyfriend or by somebody on the force or by somebody from the public who is mad about the shooting, no matter what happened to Ciara, a proper investigation is owed to her and her family.
A
An
thousand
outside
percent.
agency should have investigated, and an outside agency should still have the chance to go and investigate. And I don't have an opinion either way on what happened, really. There's only one to two to however many people who possibly know. It's Ciara knows, and if anybody else was involved, they know, and that's it. And we'll never be able to find out either way without an outside perspective investigation. And then also, I did just want to shed light on, I don't think every police officer is bad. I don't think every police department is
No.
bad. But there are some police departments, like the San Diego Police Department, who protect their own no matter what. And I just think that more information, I mean, all Ciara's family wants to do right now is get this information out and keep the buzz kind of alive while it's resurfaced on Reddit and TikTok in order to be able to get the peace that they deserve from knowing exactly what happened to Ciara.
Yeah, sadly, I feel like there's just not enough information, especially for us who are, you're just reporting and I'm just listening to you about it, that we could say either way, but you're 100% right for, her family's sake, for her sake, it needs to be investigated the proper way. It's not fair to her family that it's not, because they're probably left with so many questions. They know Ciara more than anybody. So if they feel it's appropriate to get a second investigation, they 1,000% should get a second investigation. We will link the GoFundMe, correct? In the
Yes.
show notes. Good. So that will be linked if you guys take a look at it because I hope that they get enough money to be able to pay for this outside investigation. And I also want to just say what you said is I think being a police officer is so admirable. And I think there are amazing police officers who lay their life on the line all of the time. And I am so thankful to those police officers. And they are amazing and they are heroes through and through. But like I kind of mentioned earlier, there's bad seeds in every job. And unfortunately, it seems like just from the stories we heard, I'm not saying the whole San Diego Police Department, especially Ciara, didn't seem like she was corrupt whatsoever, but there's corruption there for sure. And that's not okay either for the San Diego citizens.
There's actually a beautiful video of Ciara on YouTube. You can just search her name and it'll come up now, but it's titled Finally a Good Cop. And there was a homeless man peddling, is that what it's called? Panhandling. There is a homeless man panhandling outside a grocery store, and the grocery store employees had called to complain. And she was the responding officer. And she has just the most genuine, nice conversation with this homeless man. She's like, as long as you're not bothering anybody and as long as you're not on store property, you're not doing anything wrong. And he tells her about how he's been picked up by the cops 4 times in the last couple days for being outside of establishments or trying to find places to sleep. And she talks him through it. And she's just like so sweet, so nice. She has a smile on her face the whole time. She doesn't judge him or his lifestyle at all. And he posted it on his YouTube page, Finally a Good Cop, and now is just like a memory of how great she was and what an asset she was to the police force.
So, so sad. And I know like this was a shorter one, a different one, but also I think a really good one that should get out there, get the word out there. So good job, Jake. Good job, little brother, for picking this one because it seems like no matter what, like you said, it could be that she really did die by suicide, but the investigation is not proper and they are owed a proper investigation. So let's get this family a proper investigation.
Yes. But thank you so much for listening. Please give our podcast a follow on Instagram and wherever you're listening, Bloodshed Baddies. And if you have any case suggestions or story or anything to tell us, you can DM us on Insta or send us an email. So bloodshedbaddies@gmail.com.
Don't forget to give us a nice review as well. The intro music is made by our awesome cousin Vinny. And tell a friend so you guys can all tune in for next week's episode.
We love you.
Love, love, love.